all these narratives, all these, I mean, no one really thought that MJ got the amount of hate he did, but there's something about greatness that people tend to just hate. And I haven't really figured it out yet. Like, why do people hate greatness? I don't get it.
No, man, that's a great question. I mean, look, if you sat MJ, Kobe, and Bron down in a room together and
Hmm.
asked them how much hate they had throughout their careers, they would all give you the same answer. Like, I've had a chance to, spend time in Coach Kobe. The hate that I saw was crazy. I've spent many years with Bron. The hate that I've seen towards that man is crazy. I can only imagine what MJ went through, in terms of that. So I don't know. I think there's just a lot of people in the world ask that one, they don't want to see others succeed. And what does that come from? I don't even think it's real hate. I just think it's insecurity.
Yeah.
Really, what it boils down to. Someone else has an insecurity. They're envious of what you have. They don't have it. So I think it's just really one of those things where, again, how about you just stay in your own lane?
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, work on yourself on a daily basis, right?
Hmm.
Instead of focusing that negative energy towards what somebody else is doing, man, I'm gonna applaud that and say, shoot, well, let me get my grind on. I
Hmm.
think things like that inspire me to want to do something. Say, okay, instead of watching this man, you know, do well, let me get on my own horse and do something and see what I can do.
So when we look at all these comparisons, I guess, Kobe, LeBron, MJ, do you think these comparisons are unfair and take away from the greatness that each one of those players have individually?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's one of those things, man. Again, I watched that Last Dance on Sunday, and Kobe said something so profound, and I was just like, "Bro, you still dropping gems on us. Like you're gone, but you still sharing your knowledge." And he was just like, "What you see from me, I got it from MJ." So there you have it. Pretty
Hmm.
much end the conversation. Leave it
Hmm.
alone. Like
Yeah.
that's just respect, right? That's
Yeah.
just paying respect. To me, it's just like, man, all three of them dudes are unbelievable players in
Yeah.
different eras, right?
Hmm.
And you have to respect what they do, man. You got to respect the body of work. You got to respect Jordan's competitive spirit. You have to respect the way Kobe was like, man, I'm a freaking patent my game after MJ and try to take it to a next level. You got
Hmm.
to respect what Bron does and what he brings to the game from an all around. It's just you. They spend so much time arguing about it. They don't even really get to see the greatness of what these dudes have done for the game. So like I said, man, I'm a purist through and through.
Hmm.
I just love the greatness that they all possess, and it's just, I'm telling you guys, it's something I'm striving for every day. I want that level of success.
Well, you're already on your way there. You're already doing it. So I know that as a coach for you, you're doing a lot of the teaching. What have you learned from those guys, though? Like the Kyries of the world, LeBron, Kobe. What have you really learned from them? What messages have you been able to take?
Man, there's so much that you take away from great players, and I think for me
Hmm.
though, there's so much I take away from even youth. As like anytime I step on the floor, I'm learning something. I'm always learning. Like the game is always teaching me something. Different players always teach me something. But Cole was like very detailed. He was really detailed in his work, very methodical, and to the point to where he just wanted to perfect one piece of the game before he moved on to another piece of the game. And that was so profound to me. It's so hard to do. People don't understand how hard it is to stand in one spot for 45 minutes and do the same thing over and be in a full-on sweat. That's incredibly hard mentally.
Hmm.
He wouldn't move from that. He like, I want this to feel like part of my skin. This move, whatever I'm working on, I want it to feel like it's part of my DNA. And I was just really moved by that.
Hmm.
It kind of, again, that's just something new. It's a different perspective. And this is someone who's thriving at his job. Okay, how does he think? So I learned different pieces from him. Bron's another guy that you just learn so many things about the team aspect, and then just your work and your grind and having love for the game. All of these dudes, Kyrie was like one of those dudes, man. He taught me about really just being a little bit more relaxed. Like he's OG, relax, man, relax, OG. Like he
Hmm.
used to hit me with that all the time because I'm locked in. But he also just kind of taught me how to, all right, we can have a little bit of fun with it too. while we're still putting in some work. But I just think every time I step on the floor, somebody's teaching me something.
Mhm.
As well as I'm trying to share knowledge, I'm always learning something.
All right, so each of those guys have their own signature shoe. What's your favorite?
Ooh, I wear them all. I
Okay.
mean, look, I'm a Jordan man through and
Hmm.
through. I wear J's. I have a vast collection of J's all the way through. I mean, I grew up playing in Jordans, so the ones, my collection of ones are kind of crazy. I have a nice little collection, but I wear Kyrie's. I wear
Hmm.
bronze. Me and Kai, we wear the same shoe, same size, so I get a lot of his shoes. Sometimes there have been times where I would raid his closet and just take shoes from him.
He
So
probably doesn't notice.
that's like the older little brother syndrome, man. Give me these shoes. So,
Yeah.
but I'm a shoe guy. I love shoes. That's probably one of the vices that I have. But I,
Hmm.
I wear all three of those guys' shoes on the court.
Well, I would assume that was your answer. I was gonna say like that's probably what he's gonna answer. So to go back to what you were talking about with Kobe, when he kept working on the same move over and over again for 45 minutes, that ties into a question I wanted to ask you. How do you go about finding that balance of working on like perfecting something that they're already great at, and but while also working on something that they're maybe not so great at? Balancing strengths,
Yeah,
weaknesses.
yeah. I think well, it really doesn't have to be much of a balance with them because they're
Hmm.
always trying to find ways to strengthen their weaknesses.
Hmm.
So it
Yeah.
was, you know, I think Kobe's mindset was always like, I want to come back a better player at X, Y, or Z.
Hmm.
Bron is the same way. I want to come back next year with this added to my game, and so it's just that makes it easy, makes it really easy. I mean, you can always work on the things that they do well. I think they gain just major confidence in that, but they're always also trying to expand and figure out ways that they can continue to be as complete as possible. That's the mission, right? To
Hmm.
try to master the game
Yep.
as much as you can. And so
Yep.
every year you have to work on something a little different to add to what you're doing. And that was, really didn't take too much balance. It was just something that came natural for them to, always. And Bron still to this day, always trying to figure out ways that he can get better at what he's doing.
Never satisfied attitude,
You
pretty much.
can't be. You can be. I
No.
mean, look, the game doesn't stop. I mean, all this young talent, right? Every
Hmm.
every year, guys are
It's getting
coming.
younger.
Man, guys are coming. Giannis, the KDs, all these dudes, Harden.
Hmm.
They're there. Everybody's like trying to take that next step to to separate themselves, so to
Yeah.
speak. And so they always have to keep pushing.
So I know that you've coached LeBron in Cleveland and now with the Lakers. And when we look at him, he's obviously the best in the league today. What are some of the biggest changes that you've noticed from when you first coached him to now?
Man, that's a good question. He's been pretty consistent. And it's
Hmm.
like really, people. He's been really consistent since day one. He's he's just evolved. I think as you get older, you just organically become better at what you're doing because you get more comfortable with it. Man,
Hmm.
he's always been consistent in his work, in his approach on and off the court. And so just for me, that's even more impressive than someone changing. If you have a formula that works, you stay consistent with that and you keep doing it and you keep evolving with it. I think that's kind of more or less what I've seen from him instead of change is just the consistency.
Hmm. Absolutely. And also, I think like just looking in terms of his mindset, I could just tell like just over the years that he's gotten like way more confident. And I love watching him evolve too. I mean, have you noticed a confidence shift as well?
Yeah, man. And that dude is ultra confident. I don't think
Hmm.
there is
And
no
it's gotten
area.
like more confident. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh
I mean, I
my
just like I
God.
said, I think as you get older and you've been doing something for long, it just really becomes part of your fact. It becomes part of who you are.
Yeah.
Your DNA of it. You just really get comfortable doing it. And I think that's where the consistency part comes in. Bron's been doing this for so many years. It's just like this is what I do. It
Hmm.
feels comfortable to me. And I think when you're in that state of comfort, only thing you can do is just become more confident. It's like fine wine, man. It just gets better, right? It just keeps
Yep.
getting better.
And then a guy like Kawhi, I gotta ask. I mean, because we don't really see much of him off the court. What kind of personality does he have? Like, what kind of person is he?
Great dude. Kawhi's
Yeah.
a great dude, great teammate, great father, just all of the above. You know, people just kind of see him for how quiet he is.
Yeah.
But he's a great individual, and when
Yeah, no,
he
I
brings it up
respect
for the
it.
family, yeah, he's a solid dude.
He seems like that. And you know, like not everyone wants that spotlight. You know, not everyone wants to be on social media
Yeah,
or wants to be
yeah,
talking to media all the time. You know, they like to
yeah,
have like keep their lives private. And I
yeah.
do respect that about him, but I'm like, I want to know more about him. You know, I'm interested.
He's just a basketball junkie. That's all.
Yeah.
He just love hoop, man. When he steps away from the game, he's with his family, and
Hmm.
it's pretty simple. That's just the dude he is.
Yep. So I know too, um, possibly if the NBA comes back, the Western Conference Finals would be against Kawhi and the Clippers, which would be really exciting. So, um, about that matchup, I mean, how special would that be to bring everything back to LA and to have Clippers, Lakers going at it for a potential Western Conference Finals?
That would be dope. I think
Yeah.
that's what you could kind of feel the energy in the city throughout the whole season.
Hmm.
Man, you could feel that energy. You know, the Clipper Laker games were crazy. It was a playoff atmosphere every game.
Hmm.
So you could kind of you feel it. And I think it would have been, you know, not just great for the city of LA, but I think it would have been great for NBA.
Hmm.
Just having a rivalry in the same town. When does that ever happen? I don't think in the NBA. I don't know if that's ever happened.
I don't think so.
So no, I think it would just be you felt the energy in LA. LA
Hmm.
was a great place to be this season for basketball because the two organizations had really good teams.
Hmm.
So, you know, I don't know if it wouldn't be the same without, you know, the way things have stopped.
I know.
You know, where we are now, I think this would have been the second round of the playoffs right about
Hmm.
now.
Yeah.
You it's one of those things, man. I think everyone misses out on that because
Yeah.
it would have been a great playoff series. It would have
Oh
been
yeah.
a great playoff series.
I'm praying that they come back. I'm praying that we're able to see what we need to see, and we have to see the Clippers Lakers. Like they're even if we have to go straight to the playoffs, I'm all for it. I'm like figure out a way to just make this happen. Like it is what it is. I mean, they only have like what 12 or 13 games left of the season. Like
Yeah, I mean, Ash, who knows? Nobody.
I
I,
know,
I don't even speculate on it.
I know.
I'm serious. I'm so day by day right now.
Hmm.
If we come back, great. If we don't, and that just means that everybody has more time to spend with their family. So I'm just keeping a very even outlook on the whole thing.
I respect it. You kind of just go with the moment, which is
Yeah,
important to have. Yes, no,
right.
absolutely. So I just kind of want to go back. I never really heard your life story, where you grew up. I never really heard any of that. How did you get into basketball? Who were some of the guys you grew up watching? What inspired you? Just tell me a little bit about your upbringing.
Well, I'm from Oakland, born and raised. I come from a pretty big family.
Hmm.
I have six siblings. I'm the
Wow.
youngest, so there's seven of us total. Um, I have six brothers, one sister, and actually five brothers and one sister. Excuse me. And so I come from a very large family. My parents are from Louisiana, very old school.
Hmm.
Um, and my background has just been, basketball's been my life since I was 5 years old. I went to I went to James Logan High School in Union City. Went to Skyline Community College in San Bruno. Went to University of Hawaii. I played a little bit uh, in the NBA. Played overseas. Played in the CBA. I've been all over the place basketball wise. Ash, ran my own business for 13 years, and now, here I am.
Was
Nine
this
years
always a goal for you?
to be an NBA coach.
Yeah.
No, absolutely
Really?
not. It was not even. That wasn't even in my thought process. Like
Really?
when I started, when I started my training business, um, I wanted to just be a trainer. I wanted to run my business. I wanted to help players get better. The NBA wasn't even in my mindset. It wasn't like, hey, I want to be an NBA coach. That was not anywhere in my mindset. I went through the process of just running my business, and this is organically where it took me.
Wow.
I mean, so even even as a player, I wasn't thinking about I want to coach when I'm done. No way. No way. No way. I
I'm
can't.
actually really shocked because
I
like
can't even
most
lie to you.
people would have like that's their long-term goal, you know?
No, no, I knew I wanted to work for myself,
Hmm.
but I wasn't thinking about it being an NBA coach. Matter of fact, the first time when Mike Brown was in Cleveland, there was an opportunity for me to go to Cleveland during the summertime and work with the Cavs, and I said no. I didn't want to do it. I was in the middle of doing my business. That was when Bron was still in Cleveland the first time. I
Hmm.
was running my business, and I was like, Cleveland? No way. True story. True story. I was like, I am not going to freaking Cleveland. True story. And then ended up being in Cleveland for 5 years and fell in love with that city.
I was gonna say, you've said great things about
Oh, man.
Cleveland.
Listen, I love Cleveland. But that was just, I think that was 2008, somewhere in there,
Hmm.
somewhere in that time frame. And I was just like, no, I'm not going to Cleveland. I'm not interested. And just,
Wow.
my business was going really well. I
Hmm.
worked when I wanted to work. If I didn't want to work, I didn't work.
Hmm.
I was doing things at my own pace, and my business was really successful. So it's funny you asked that because I had no visions of being here, sitting in this chair right now.
So how did it fall into your lap? Like, what moment were you like, all right, I need to do this?
2011. So I went through the process of just doing my training, and St. Mary's College was a program that I worked with a lot. I
Hmm.
did a lot of training with the guys when they were off season. And Randy Bennett was really, really good friend and mentor of mine. He's the head coach there. Him and Mike Brown were college roommates. And so when Mike Brown got hired by the Lakers, Randy was like, "You're taking this job. You're going to LA." And I was just like, "Coach, I'm cool." But I got home and I thought about it one day. I was like, yo, like, you really have been on this pursuit to being, you know, to creating a great name for yourself in the training industry. Here's an opportunity for you to work with one of the best players to ever play. And that was the only thing that changed my mind, is the opportunity to come to LA and work with Kobe. That was it. That was like, okay, come on, rewind. Come on, man, don't be stupid. And that's what got me my first opportunity. Obviously, Mike Brown gave me a chance.
Hmm.
He brought me in, didn't know me. He relied heavily on he relied heavily on Randy Bennett's opinion of me, and the rest is history. So it just, that
And
job came,
since then,
and since then, it's history.
Kobe, LeBron, Kawhi, LeBron again. Like, wow, you probably could have never, then you've never pictured this moment then.
No,
That's
not.
crazy.
And as I listen, I talk to my family and my friends about this quite often because it's not something that I take for granted.
Hmm.
And I look, I worked my butt off to get here, but it's not something that I had a vision of. When people always ask me, I get a lot of emails and questions, Coach, how did you get where you are? I didn't have a blueprint. I didn't have this roadmap to say this is where I'm going. All I really did was just grind every day. I was running my business and I was present. I loved it.
Hmm.
I loved every day of it. And so that's why I was so successful at it with all of my clients, because I was there. I was present. There was no, I want to do this, or let me look down the road. And this journey is just taking me where it's taking me. I'm not in control of it except for just the work that I put in every day. And so that's
Yeah, I love that.
that's what's gotten me here.
I
There's no
love it
no
because it's just so different. It's different because what we can learn from this is what you were saying is just you stayed in your lane, right? Like you did what you loved. You didn't steer away from what you loved, and what you loved obviously brought you this success, this level of success that you never even thought was imaginable.
no.
So I think a lot of times people think like, oh, I need to do things this way because it worked for this person. But again, like everyone's journeys are going to be different. I never really believe there's the one size fits all for
Right,
everyone.
right.
So your story is proof of that. I mean, this wasn't something that you really wrote on like your vision board, like, all right, we're going to go here, here, and then here. It just kind of, happened that way.
Look, Ashley, there is no way that I could have envisioned myself, a boy from Oakland, participating in 5 straight NBA finals in Oakland. There's no way. That
It's
vision,
crazy.
like that part of it, the story alone trips me up. Just saying, man, my experiences of being in the NBA Finals have been in Oakland every year, where I grew up, my family. There's no way. There's no way that, so for me, I'm always, again, just preaching, man. I think it's really important for people to be present in what they're doing. And again, in any walk of life, in any part of work, you cannot be a boss if you don't understand what all the other people underneath you have done, right? So in basketball terms, if you're a video coordinator, be a video coordinator. If you're an assistant coach, be an assistant coach. Whatever your position is, be it at the best of your ability. And then maybe one day if you climb that ladder and you become a head coach, then you know what the video assistant had to do. You know what the video coordinator had to do. You know what the assistant coach has to do. You know all of their responsibilities. So then you can be a better leader, right? So I don't know. Organic
Yeah, no,
organic is my
very.
word. It's very organic. I can't explain it any other. And look, some luck along the way. God has been tremendously, He's blessed me abundantly. I don't have all the answers as to why. I just, I know I've worked hard for it, but this could be anybody in my seat.
You stay grateful though. You stay grateful. You're
Very much.
humble, and you're respectful. I mean, that's the first time I ever met you. I got that from you immediately, and like I can tell, I can like feel people's energy, and I know like when someone is genuine, authentic, and I know that's what you carry with yourself every day. So that's definitely, I think, why God has blessed you, because
Yes.
you come from a place of being grateful every single day. So
No question.
I want to go back for that first time that you went to a final series in Oakland. Like what was going, like take me back to that exact moment when you realized like, oh my God, this is happening right now.
That first year that Bron came back to Cleveland, we went to the finals. I don't really know if got to really enjoy it because it was just, I felt numb. I'm looking back on it now. Excuse me. Looking back on it now, I don't even remember what happened. It just went by so fast. I didn't really experience it. So all I remember was that summer. I kept telling myself, man, if I have the opportunity to ever get back to the NBA Finals, I am going to enjoy it the whole way through. And so, like the next year when we went, man, the whole playoff experience was so different. I was so much calmer. I was just more prepared. And when we got to the finals, to the second time, man, I just couldn't tell me nothing. Laughing, joking, just, look, I was prepared and ready to work hard every day. But at the same time, I was like, man, I'm going to sit back and enjoy this. We worked hard to get to the NBA Finals. I'm here. Why not work hard and still play hard a little bit and enjoy this whole thing that you're working for? So it it was one of those things where I just was like, man, I'm gonna enjoy this ride. And I think after the first one, every year I just enjoyed it more and more. And I'm telling you, it becomes addicting. It's like, I don't do drugs, but look, man, you get addicted. People are addicted to candy. Some people are addicted to wine, whatever. That's you want it. I want to get back. I want to go back to the finals. I want to go back to the finals. And that's kind of been my mindset ever since.
And I never understood too when people say like, oh, 2 championships, 3, how are they going to still have the motivation because they've already won? But no, like you want to keep winning championships. That's the goal. That's what you work for every single
I,
year.
I don't want nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't want anything else. I want the opportunity to compete for that every year.
So the
That's what I
first time
want.
you won it, how did that feel?
Shoot, man.
The
There's
emotions.
so many emotions. We were down 3-1. We were, the Warriors, they were killing us. But again, to be able to play in a Game 7 in the NBA Finals and win that in Oakland, in my backyard, for me individually, let alone the city of Cleveland, let alone LeBron, but I had my own, like, yo, this is dope. Like, for real, I was beside myself.
I bet.
It was amazing. Just I enjoyed that for sure. I certainly I was present. I was present during that, and I just You stopped. I actually stopped for a minute in the middle of the court after we won, after everything cleared out. I came out of the locker room, and I remember standing in the middle of the court, and I used to sit in that Coliseum. This was back when I was a kid. Oracle was the Coliseum.
Mm-hmm.
I used to sit in that Coliseum and watch Sleepy Floyd. I used to watch all of these dudes play for the Warriors. Sonny Parker, like a kid in the stands, and like in my mind, dreaming the kid's dream. Hey man, I want to be in the NBA one day. I had that dream, so I went back out on that court and was like, yeah, this is cool. This is cool because
That's
again,
amazing.
I grew up in that arena, so to be able to sit, go back out there and just look in the stands, it was a surreal moment for me.
I bet. And then you won a championship again a couple years later too, with the Raptors. Completely different team, different dynamic. What was that like going from, you change teams kind of like every year. What's that like? And it almost seems like you're the common denominator there.
No, no,
I'm
I
just
can't say that because I was in Cleveland for 5 years, and
right.
when I went to Toronto, I signed a 3-year contract. I had no, and I went to Toronto before Kawhi, before he got traded. So my mindset was I felt like that group of guys that they had up there had the ability to compete for a championship. I felt like DeMar Rosen was a phenomenal player, and I was like really looking forward to having the opportunity of working with him when I took the job. So Toronto was just amazing experience. Being in another country, and it doesn't really feel like you're in another country, because you're right there, but it's another country, and the primary sport in Canada is hockey. So the Raptors done an incredible job of building up their basketball franchise and gaining support, Jurassic Park, and all the things that they had up there. That was crazy. That was, being a part of that championship run. It wasn't just Toronto; it was the whole country. Like
Mm-hmm.
Canada stood up. Like Canada was like, "Yo, we here, we're representing," and it was just, man, it was a surreal opportunity to be a part of that team, to kind of bring that whole first team outside of the U.S. to win an NBA championship, and then again, me and Nick Nurse, we had history. I played for Nick Nurse, so to be able to coach and work with him again, there's a lot of different layers to that. So it was just it was dope. It was a dope experience, man. It was, again, you hope for the opportunity to compete for a championship. That's really all you can ask for. Outside of that, there's no guarantees, right? You just want to put yourself in the best position to get there, and we did that in Toronto. So we got there. So once you get there, it's just like, okay, cool, we're here. Let's enjoy it, right? When the game comes, let's be locked in. Let's play hard, but just try to enjoy that whole experience. And Toronto was amazing. It was, people ask me what's better. Neither one of them is better. They're amazing. Being able to win championships in both of those cities is just, I don't know, it makes me speechless sometimes.
And yeah, I've never been in Toronto, but oh my God, what was going on outside of the arena, let alone inside, was just insane. I've
Man,
never seen anything like it.
we won the Eastern Conference Finals,
Hmm.
and we won that Game 6. We could not leave the arena. We couldn't leave the arena. The fans were outside. I don't think the Toronto police were, they weren't quite prepared for that.
Yeah.
Guys could not leave the arena. They're like,
Wow.
we come out of the tunnel and the fans were right there. They were cool. You had to slow inch your car out to get past all of the people. They were lit. So,
Yeah.
and the images that people saw out in the streets of
Hmm.
Jurassic Park after the game. And I'm telling you, that's why I said Canada, they stood up like, yo, we here. We're going to represent.
Yeah, no, I know that it might not be the number one sport, but when it came to the Raptors, I mean, like you said, you had that whole country
Yeah,
behind
but
you guys.
when you go to a Raptor game, you don't know that, right?
No, I mean,
You go to
when
a
I
Raptor
looked,
game, you'd be like, nah, this is not a hockey town. This, you cannot tell that. I'm telling you, Raptor fans are lit. They are lit.
I could see, just like I said, just from TV alone, I can tell. Um, So I want to wrap this up. I don't want to take too much of your time. Again, I really appreciate you being here with me. Your story has been just amazing to hear because I didn't know all this stuff. So I want to know what your purpose is when it's all said and done. What is your main purpose?
I think there's a lot of different ways I can answer that ask, but I think my main purpose is to continue to be a servant to the athletes I work with and to be a servant to the game of basketball. I know people look at that and say, hey, it's a game, but I really feel like at this point in my life, this is what I was put on the earth to do, to inspire people through the game of basketball. And so my purpose is to feel that every day. You know, I want to be able to help the game of basketball move along in a healthy way globally. And so I'm trying to do that as much as I can every day.
Well, you definitely are. All the comments on here, I mean, people, like I said before, people cannot say enough good things about you. So again, I really appreciate your time and keep doing what you're doing. You're obviously impacting the world in more ways than one. So I really appreciate you and thank you so much.
It's all good, Ash. Thank you.